Hey, welcome back to Callahan's Corner, where you ask the questions and we answer them live on Facebook. So a lot of people have been talking about the springtime rush in the service industry and how to tackle that springtime rush. So a lot of questions around EDDM, Every Door Direct marketing, 9-arounds, door hangers, the timing, Facebook, you name it. It is a massive question right now. So it's something we actually want to dive into and explore. So as you're looking at the screen here, you'll see there's a picture off here, and I'm actually going to knock this down so you can actually see the picture. But this is actually myself a year or two ago, and believe it or not, all those packages right there, and I'm actually going to pull this off so you can actually see it. That is all Every Door Direct mailing right there. So each one of those bags is stocked full with Every Door Direct. Had some audio issues earlier too. So if you can hear me and you're watching, just leave a comment to make sure you can hear me here, but I'm going to continue going, hoping everybody can hear me. But the first thing we're going to tackle is online and offline marketing. So ideally, if you're going to do offline marketing, Every Door Direct mailing is one of the pieces that I would recommend. Now, the timing of it and the frequency is what we're going to dive into. And I'm actually going to lift the hood and show you three copies of some Every Door Direct mailings that we did. We didn't do postcards. We actually did a full-size piece of paper that was full color, glossy, and it worked really well. So the first thing we want to take a look at is being able to cast that digital net. So if you've ever been to a regional event at SA with myself or Jonathan Potoshnik of the Lawn Care Millionaire, we've talked about this in depth. But give you a quick background, and then I'm going to get into more of the offline marketing as far as the Every Door Direct, the 9-arounds, how to build a database to crush your competition as well. So comments or questions drop below as we go here. But as we're going in, we're diving into this here. We want to go in and cast that digital net. So this is where we're going on Facebook or social media, and we're dialing in through organic posts, educating people and becoming the topic expert for relevancy. People are going on Facebook to engage and create relationships. They're not usually going on there to buy, but we want to build that brand recognition on social media. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Facebook and Instagram are probably the two big ones right now for service industry. And in addition to the organic posts, we want to go out and dial in our Facebook ads and go in and literally just drop basically a geofence around the postal codes of the service area that you service. So we're casting that digital net across your whole entire service area and doing targeted ads to people inside your service area. In addition, we should have a small spend, in my opinion, in your marketing for retargeting off your website. Now, the Facebook ads that we are seeing right now that are generating the best return on investment are Facebook Messenger ads, the destination to Facebook Messenger. And if you're willing to hop on the bleeding edge, like what we've been doing the last few years, is Facebook Messenger bots that are automated with pricing built in on lot square footage. So we're giving people the ability to shop our services live online 24/7. So when you're casting that digital net, the services you want to focus on are your gateway services. So that's your lawn mowing, your fertilization and weed control, your aeration and overseeing, home cleaning, or home cleaning industry is probably going to be your top to bottom deluxe and your weekly, biweekly, or monthly cleaning. So those are the things that can be sold over the phone or automated on Facebook Messenger without creating a process of making the consumer wait. Today's consumer wants to buy just like on Amazon. And most of the consumers that we're seeing are buying between 10 and like 3 in the morning. Obviously, no one's live in your office. So first things we want to cast that digital net, organic and paid Facebook advertising. Hopefully, Facebook is going to take that Facebook Messenger bot. If you missed the webinar we did on that, drop me a PM. I'll get you that. But that's the idea. So we're casting that digital net. Now, the next thing we want to do is go offline. Offline is where we build route density. And this is where we're going to get into Every Door Direct, 9-arounds, building a qualified database of all the people in your service area that actually receive lawn mowing. I'm going to tell you how we did that. I'm going to warn you, if you do that, we break it down, your competitors will not like you. So I'm just giving you a heads up. But I'll tell you how we created a database of over 10,000 1,000 people in our service area that already had commercial lawn mowing at their residential home. So hold tight. We're going to show you how we did that as well. So the first thing, we've casted that digital net organically and paid on Facebook. Now we're driving in and going in to build route density through offline marketing. So the first thing I'm going to do is and pop into the screen here to show you what we did. So the biggest question is how did you build the route density you had? So what we did is, and I'm going to warn you before you do this, it's ethical, but your competition's not going to like you. What we did is we literally got a notepad and paid someone of our employees in the off season. We drove through every single neighborhood we serviced and all the neighborhoods in between and wrote down every single address that was being mowed commercially. You can tell by the stripes of the lawnmowers up north. Now in the southern markets, this may not be as easily obvious, but in our market, we could tell all the lawns that were commercially mowed. We wrote down the addresses. We brought a couple guys and girls in from college on their breaks, and they measured online all the property square footages, and then we calculated property specific pricing. Then in some of those envelopes that you're seeing right there, or some of the envelopes you're seeing here. So year after year, we did this, and this works. So I'm going to actually pull this off so you can actually see the amount of this. But this right here is what $30,000 to $35,000 of every door direct mailing and direct mailing looks like in the springtime. Not a small feat, but I tell you, it works. So the first one we did is we drove through every neighborhood that we serviced. We wrote down each and every address that was being commercially mowed. We had college kids come in, measure the properties. We calculated property specific prices. And then in windowed envelopes, we did a mail merge, property specific. And it said on the service address or the address line, lawn mowing customer. It caught their attention and they opened it up. When they opened it up, we had property specific pricing for those gateway services: lawn mowing, fertilization, weed control, and aeration. The idea is to sell them on the gateway services. And then once we build that service up with some reputation, 20 to 30 days later, we go in and upsell higher ancillary services with higher margin. But first we go into the gateway services that we can sell on the phone or through a qualified database. So we had over 10,000 of these qualified addresses with property specific pricing in our market. We directly marketed to our direct buying demographic. In addition, we went out and circled our service area again through a full page insert in one of the small community magazines. And it was really popular with a lot of the homeowners, and especially the older homeowners that were buying our services. So what we did is 9 drops. And a lot of people's questions are you dropping it daily, weekly, monthly? In my opinion, monthly is way too spread out. We did it literally over 6 weeks. We did it from St. Patty's Day weekend in 6 weeks moving forward. So we start mowing usually the 3rd week of April in my market. So I wanted to hit the early adopters and then be really upfront and all over them and everywhere they looked when that pain point hit of the first weeds popping or the grass starting to grow. So we hit the early adopters and we started to have brand recognition or brand awareness by the time we hit them, because we're hitting them online 12 months a year through organic, and then we doubled down with the paid at the same time. So we're hitting them online, and then we're driving offline conversions to build route density in the areas we're already in. So we used our qualified database of about 10,000 lawns already being mowed, property specific pricing, mailed out between 2 to 3 times with those envelopes, and that was week after week after week. So the first 3 weeks when those people were starting to renew their contracts or thinking about shopping them, so we want to hit them when they hit that pain point. And then over 6 weeks, we had 3 separate drops every week, or 3 different flyers that went out once a week. So actually it was over 9 weeks. So each week had a different flyer. So we did 3 different ones. Each week had a different one. The next week we cycled them back again. And then the 3rd week we cycled them back again. So basically over about a little over 2 months, every week they got something in the mail from us. And I'm going to show you what that actually looks like. So the methodology here is, once again, this is another year. The methodology is we started out with several different ad copies. And the first ad copy had no pricing, but it overcame a lot of the sales and price objections in the nasty things that people think about lawn care companies. So we talked about the Callahan's guarantee, money back guarantee. And and we want you to basically keep us forever. We did inspections, the Callahan's inspection. We walked around and did property inspections. Protection. We had a $2 million liability umbrella. So we covered and protected them. So if something did break, we had them. And then we communicated. We talked about how they could call our office and we'd pick the phone up, or they could text message our office, or they could communicate on Facebook Messenger. No matter the channel of communication they wanted, we were there and we would communicate with them. So this is the actual sheet that we put in. It was oversized and it was stuffed in the newspaper, a real thin community newspaper, but it was big enough where it stuck out the outside. You couldn't miss it. And as we scroll down on the backside, we highlighted what our professional services included. And we also included what we promised never to do. So we promised to never to miss a scheduled day except for inclement weather, never neglect to return a phone call, never neglect to close your gate, and we never neglect not to blow the grass clippings into the street pool of your neighbor's yard. So we addressed head on all the things that people don't like about lawn mowing services. So right off the bat, we were different. We addressed them. Very similar to Marcus Sheridan's book, They Ask You Answer. We were doing this well in advance of Marcus writing that book. But Marcus was on a software platform called HubSpot where they taught lifecycle marketing. We were on another software platform called Infusionsoft before we automated in Service Autopilot. They taught lifecycle marketing. This was the bleeding edge of lifecycle marketing, very similar to the bleeding edge of conversational marketing now with Facebook Messenger. So this was the first ad copy. No prices on it. We addressed the pain points and concerns and made ourselves different right out the gate. Next thing, we went out, we addressed pricing. I've obviously blocked the pricing out because my fear is a lot of people try to copy prices when we throw things on here. How do you price it? So I just threw it on here, but it's based on a gross lot square footage of 5,000 square feet. Obviously, a very small point piece of turf, but we wanted to give them a ballpark price to get them on the phone and close them. So we had lawn mowing, we had fertilizing, in landscape bed, weed control. And then we talked about our guarantee, our 100% satisfaction guarantee. Once again, we addressed the ugliness of our industry and overcame it through education. So that was week one. We went into no prices, talking about the services, what they included, and what we would absolutely not do, addressing the ugliness. And we talked about the 4 main ways we were different. The next week we went out and talked about pricing. So we looked at the demographic that like to read things and engage and read long copy, more of that Dan Kennedy marketing style, long script. And then the next was pricing, the consumer that wanted to see prices to make sure you're at least in the ballpark. So we addressed that demographic. And then the third week we went in, and I got to give credit where credit's due. This is a very similar copy of Jonathan Potoshnik of the Lawn Care Millionaire, something I learned at a roundtable with him probably 7 or 8 years ago. But we did put our own little spin on it, but very similar. But basically, this was different. And I will tell you, if you think the ads that went out with property-specific pricing to people that were already getting lawn mowing services upset my competition, this really pissed them off, if we're being honest. They couldn't believe, for the most part, that I had the nerve to actually put my face on this thing and actually stand behind it. But what I will tell you is people called and it was different. And they at least wanted to have a conversation of, wow, this is not the normal flyer or marketing from a lawn care company. And we had a massive insurge of new sales and leads when we went to this copy here. And it was just the same exact thing front and back. So no matter which way they picked it up, they saw that actual ad like that. So first thing we did is we did our qualified mailing database with property specific prices for everybody in our market that already had the service. From what we could tell, mailed those out about 3 times. Next thing we did, year after year, we went out and took the offline product of Facebook and went in and did our guarantee and addressed some of the ugliness of the services in our industry and exposed why we were different. People who like to read the long copy. Next week, we went out and addressed pricing. That's why some people shop. And then the third way is we addressed it all up front in one place here, and we're completely different. So these were 3 weeks of ads dropped once a week over 3 separate drops. So we actually went out a total, they got each one of these ads 3 times. And it reinforced it. It started March 15th in our market and ran right into pretty much the latest someone would sign up. So we were constantly just hitting them with different marketing copy, depending how they bought and read and interacted. So if you're wondering how you do that or how it can be done, that's how we did it. Online marketing, cast the digital net, organic and paid, Facebook Messenger with Messenger ads that will automatically calculate property-specific pricing through Zillow. It's something that we do at Simple Growth to help you out. If you need some help, let me know. We got a great webinar on how to do that. Next thing is we go offline and build route density. We build a database of all the neighborhoods and the neighborhoods we're in between, measure amounts and property-specific pricing that was dropped 3 times. And in the envelope, lawn mowing customer. They already had their lawn mowed by somebody. Might have caused a little confusion, but it got that envelope opened. And then the final part is we went out through addressing the service and what we wouldn't do, the bad perceptions of each service by the service provider, pricing, and then complete differentiation. Comments and questions drop below. Hopefully it was helpful, but that is online marketing, casting the digital net, and then going offline marketing to build route density and hammer home and basically come behind the offline or the online marketing. So 2-step approach. Online to offline, we cast the digital net across our whole entire service area online, and then dive into the specific areas we want to build route density offline. In addition, we also did 9 rounds. Every time one of those new clients came in, we dropped a pin on it. The geofence grabbed the 9 homes around it, and we did between 3 to 5 mailings to a product like Send Gym to build route density every time we added a customer in there. So it was a systematic approach that was pretty much fully automated, with the exception of walking in and taking pictures at the print house. But those databases were automatically at a certain point triggered to go out to the mail house and get sent out. So comments, questions, drop below. Hopefully it was helpful. That was a lot all at once, but if you're looking to dominate your market this spring, that's the way we tackled it. And I will tell you, it definitely works.